Hello, figments of my imagination. I just saw the trailer for part 2 and it gave me the missing piece. For reference, this is the scene I'm talking about. And just in case Netflix comes after me and I have to remove that clip, we see Vecna switching between many different forms, symbolizing the different ways we've seen him through the series. But I think it's something more, the kind of thing that once you get it, it becomes so obvious. Vecna is an embodiment of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's right, the iconic character that originated from an 1886 novella called, hilariously enough, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The story is about a good doctor who takes on a sinister appearance and mood with the help of a potion, an alter ego that is dubbed Mr. Hyde. But it isn't just the trailer that's pointing to this. There's another article about the Creel murders from the Indianapolis Gazette, one that Nancy sees briefly before Robin pulls up the article about demons. In that article, a lot of the details are completely different. I originally chalked it up as an early copy that an editor missed, but honestly at this point I should know better. Most errors in this series turn out to be planned. Anyways, in this article, the Creel family is a little different. The wife is named Alice, and the two children are named Virginia and Edward. So beyond the wife and daughter swapping names, we also have a completely different name for Vecna. But why did I bring up that second article now? Well, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is about the titular characters, and basically everyone knows the gist of the story. But do you know their full names? Probably not. Go ahead and Google it because you aren't going to believe this. Dr. Henry Jekyll and Mr. Edward Hyde. Yep, the Duffer brothers really plan everything, huh? So now we get to the part where we make the information matter for the story. And I think it has to involve my least favorite sci-fi tropes, time travel and alternate timelines. To be clear, I only hate them because it's always so poorly done. Here, I think we might actually have the first legitimately good media portrayal of time travel, assuming the season plays out roughly similar to how I see it. Let's break it down. And for sake of argument, everything is canon. The play, the show, every little scrap of article or pictures, all of it. That's the best way this works. We'll start with the big one, the Creel murders. In the show, we have two papers. One is published March 18th, 1959, and is reporting that the murders had just happened. That's the article where Vecna is named Edward. The other article, the one Robin reads about the demonic killings, is published March 26th, 1959. That one has the names we're all familiar with, but mentions that Victor Creel is behind bars at a mental institution and has already been tried. There's no way a murder trial happened in a week, especially back in 1959 when the Speedy Trial Act of 1974 didn't exist. Thank you, Google. It was common for the process to take a couple of months, which could put the actual killings on November 6th. That's important because in the play, the murders occur on the same day as the Oklahoma production, which, according to the Flyer Max Season 5, is on November 6th, the return of that pesky date. Now, the year is still 1959, according to the Flyer, but the year could also have just been published wrong on the paper, or it could also be another example of time shenanigans. Side note that I found interesting because I didn't see it in the original synopsis of the play I read, but apparently Joyce wasn't actually putting on Oklahoma. She was secretly going to put on Dark of the Moon, a more edgy play that she was certain the school wouldn't allow, which makes way more sense with her personality. But getting back to time travel and alternate dimensions, I believe we'd likely have two separate timelines. One where Edward killed his family on November 6th, and one where Henry killed his family in March. And I believe these two timelines have slowly been converging over the course of the series, which would explain a bunch of the strange things we've seen, like Dustin having an Ultra Magnus Transformer in the summer of '85 when it was actually released in '86, or Joyce saying Will was 11 years old when he disappeared when he was clearly 12, or everyone forgetting Will's birthday last season, a gag that was further emphasized by multiple references to forgotten birthdays in the background, as well as Murray mentioning forgetting a child's birthday directly to Joyce. That one was so big the Duffer brothers even addressed it in interviews, saying it was just a mistake and they forgot. I never for a second thought they forgot, but a timeline convergence where the current date is different, or Will might even have a different birthday altogether, makes a lot more sense. And of course, there's the construction of Castle Byers. Jonathan mentioned in Season 2 that he and Will stayed up all night building it in the pouring rain, describing it as a rough experience that they just had to push through. Meanwhile, in Season 5, a flashback shows them both constructing the castle on a sunny, clear day. That one in particular pissed my wife off, but Muddy Timelines explains that too. The trailer for Season 4 showed Billy's grave as Billy Hargrove, but in the actual season, it's William Hargrove. Another possible example of timeline distortion, but also, I feel like Billy and Will having the same name should mean something. It probably doesn't. William is a fairly common name, but I like to think that Billy was like the alternate timeline warrior version of Will. And of course, one of the original errors, the boy who came back to life. In Season 1, we see this article about Will, and if you pause and read it, it talks about secret government programs in the Hawkins lab. But in Season 2, the same article instead just talks about the coroner misidentifying the body and Will being found in the woods. And I'm sure there are plenty more that I missed. The point is, small details have been slightly different for the entire run of the show, and fans online have been pointing them out as failures of production. But maybe they were just breadcrumbs this entire time, leading to this parallel timeline reveal. It fits perfectly with the wormhole theory, with the Upside Down being different from Dimension X, everything. It even allows some fun speculation, like maybe Eddie Munson in the timeline that we saw is somehow connected to Edward Creel. Maybe that's why Eddie's uncle knew about the Creel murders when no one else seemed to mention it. Maybe Eddie is actually Edward Creel. Probably not, but these are the kind of wacky theories that time travel and parallel universes allow, and that's normally why I hate them. But I have faith in the Duffer brothers, and I'm really interested to see how this plays out. As for my predictions, I still think my first prediction is basically spot on, even with the new info. The details might change, but it still comes down to the Mind Flayer trying to get to our world. Oh, and Will isn't just working for the Mind Flayer, he is also Vecna. Assuming the Duffer brothers weren't just messing with us on The Tonight Show, not sure what else stacking Will and Vecna on top of Henry could mean. Of course, Mike already said Will was Vecna in Season 5, so not really a spoiler, I guess. And Joyce being that close to Henry raises a few questions as well. I had briefly considered the possibility of Henry being Will's real father, but it doesn't seem very plausible with Henry being locked up by Brenner forever. Maybe there's a different meaning there. And that's it. This will probably be my last Stranger Things video. Part 2 is going to air while I'm out of town, so I won't get a chance to make another speculation video before the finale on New Year's. Maybe I'll make one gloating if I get it right though. Anyways, poke holes in my theories in the comments, or pitch your own. Check out my first theory video here. Most of what I've talked about is still relevant, even with this new information. Do other YouTube stuff if you want, and I'll see you all eventually.